Good morning. Happy Friday morning motivation. Millennial men, today it's early, even on the East Coast. 6:21 a.m. Quickly, October 12th, Friday, 2018. Talking about the way. What is the way to success? Let me share this. What is the way? This is something, I'm talking massive success. I'm talking you want freedom, you want fulfillment, you want happiness, you want it all, right? You know, even beyond status and, more ego desires. Like, you want to feel happy. That's what we're all after. Is you want to feel happy, you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel, you want to feel on purpose, right? So if you want to succeed in your venture, working from home, doing your internet business, being an entrepreneur, what is that going to take? I can tell you, it's hard. You're going to face, what you're going to go up against is going to be so hard and incredibly difficult and challenging. It's going to bring adversity. It's going to bring obstacles. It's going to bring setbacks. And it was funny. I was thinking this morning, I was making this cup of tea. This is some lemon tea. I put some honey in it, and I was thinking, like, you put honey in, but you don't just let it sit there. Like, you have to stir it. You have to stir your tea. You have to stir your coffee to get it to the desired composition. And I was like, why? I was thinking, like, why? I mean, I know why it is consciously, but I was thinking about it on a deeper level. Like, why do you actually have to stir it? The reason you stir the honey, you put a lot of honey in, it's good for you. You stir it up so it forms, so it mixes in. So you're changing the composition, right? Because you want it to be smooth, you want it to be balanced, you want it to be a good finished product. And I was thinking, it's funny, like, that's obvious, but the reason it mixes in is because it's movement. So you're gonna need movement in your life, because there's gonna be times when you got a problem. Like, if you got a big glump of honey, at the bottom of your tea, or your coffee, you have instant coffee and it's at the bottom. Maybe you didn't mix it and it's clunky, or whatever. You gotta mix it to get the desired result. You can't just let it sit there, otherwise that's a problem. So it's just like in life, as entrepreneurs, more than, for everybody too, but really entrepreneurs all the time, we're solving problems. Like, that's what we do for a living. And the way we get through problems is the same way you make a good cup of tea. It's through movement. It's through attacking what is holding you back head on. It's going right into your fears, right into those obstacles that are holding you back, because through movement and action, you can get the desired results. You can mix things together in a balanced way. When you're sitting there, when you're dwelling, when you're overthinking, when you're delaying, when you're procrastinating, what you're doing is you're allowing the problems to linger. And the only way to move ahead, to succeed with your goals, is you gotta be accomplishing your problems along the way. You gotta be going into failure head on. I studied Darren Hardy. I still do to this day, but years ago, and he talked about these. So big credit to Darren Hardy. These perverse pursuits that I'll always remember. And he talks about the way to success, and this is talked about by a lot, is actually when you chase fear, when you chase failure, when you chase discomfort. That is actually the way. When you're constantly going out of your comfort zone, feeling awkward, feeling uncomfortable, not reaching your goals because you set them so big, and you have so many, and you're facing failure, and you're running into adversity. Because think about it, if you got giant goals, if you got a lot of stuff you want to accomplish, aren't you going to run into failure? Right? Otherwise, wouldn't it just be a smooth, easy sailing path? You know, if you didn't have goals? Of course. If your goal is just to, I just want to get out of bed this morning, boom, you're done. Doesn't take a lot to accomplish that. But look, if your goal is like, I want to do this and that and make videos, and I want to close sales and grow my business, and I want to do this, I want to read this book, I want to, whatever it is, I want to help more people, I want to increase my income, I want to generate 5 leads, I want to do a video. Like, that takes time and effort and energy, and you're going to run into problems along the way. Sometimes your internet's going to cut out. Sometimes the bandwidth is going to lag, and your video is going to be blurry and messed up. You're going to have to redo it. Other times it's going to take hours and hours to upload your content. You know, the internet entrepreneur lifestyle. That's the reality, right? If you guys are getting value, drop a comment. Appreciate it for Friday motivation. All right, so we're talking about when things are going bad, when you got problems, when you're facing failure, what you do is you mix things up. You start moving. You want to start moving things around. You want to start taking action. You don't just let the problem sit there, right? You don't just let it sit there. You take action on it. When you face your problems and you just attack them instead of waiting or lingering, you overcome them. And the person you end up becoming, the character you develop, will be correlational to the amount of problems and diversity you overcome in your life. Alright, so set big goals. Challenge yourself and get after it today. Okay? Because when you do, it's inevitable to run into failure along the way, but that is the way. The problem is a lot of people don't realize that's the way. Like facing failure, being uncomfortable, literally get awkward. If you're a networker, if you're a business person, you got to talk to people. You got to become a people person. Being shy, being reserved, that's an excuse. You can't let that stop you anymore. You got to go out. You got to talk to people face to face. You got to talk to people on video. You got to get on camera sometimes. You got to do 3-way calls. You got to do prospecting calls. You got to do Skype calls. You got to coach. Right? That's stuff I do every day. You got to message people online. You got to prospect. That's the easiest. Man, if you're scared of prospecting people just online, like just messaging them on a computer, right? You gotta take massive action. If that's your fear, go out today and message 100 people, right? Because that should not be a fear. A more of a real fear is actually talk to someone in person, because you might not know what they do. I get that. What I did to overcome my fear is I went right into it. When I was 19, 20, 21 years old, really around 20, I went to malls and I started to cold market everybody. I just cold marketed everybody. I just went up to you, I talked to you, I said, hey, a quick compliment, how you doing, nice shoes, whatever, you seem sharp, hey, my business is expanding in this area, quick question, do you keep your options open to something, I don't know, an extra source of income? So I did that, and was I terrified? Yeah, my heart was beating, I was sweating, I was nervous, I was anxious, but when I did that again and again and again, facing my fears, I started to make my uncomfortable zone into my comfort zone. And that's when you know you level up, is when you make your uncomfort zone into your current comfort zone. That's when you can that's when you can take massive levels of action and start to generate better results. Is when you get to a place where you're doing things that in the past they would have terrified the crap out of you, and now you're doing them to get the results you know you need to get, to do the things you need to do. Alright, that's the next level. So I might have been anxious, overthinking, worried about doing videos and camera stuff like this way in the past, but now that I've done it so many times, over 1,000 times, over 400 times on Periscope alone, hundreds of times on Facebook, hundreds of times on YouTube, I've kind of almost mastered the art of being comfortable on camera, getting out my message, That's what I want you to do today, guys. Get your message out. Don't let things stop you. Apply movement to the problems you have and mix things in to get a balanced, desired result. Like, you know what you want, but you got to get things balanced and moving and going to overcome that natural resistance that life is going to throw at you. And it's going to be in the form of, like I said, failure. It's going to be painful. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward. You're going to have to get awkward to grow your relationships, to meet new people. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to get out of bed at 4:30 in the morning. You're going to have to, do things, exercise, run, read books. You're going to have to do things that you didn't do in the past to get new results for today. And that's my message, guys. 10 minutes, 11 minutes. If you like this, please share it, retweet it. I appreciate you guys' support. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. This is my Friday motivation video of the day. And I'll see you guys next time. As always, stay motivated.